The handshake is coming. After a season of refusal, Tommy Norris now has no cards left to play. His company is bankrupt, his CEO has been humiliated, and the only source of capital is a man who views the world as a nest of snakes. Tommy is about to become the hawk, but first, he must enter the snake pit and agree to their roles. This is our prediction for the explosive next episode. Tommy will walk into Dan Morrill's office, but this won't be a negotiation. It will be a surrender with conditions. We predict Dan will lay out 3 non-negotiable demands. First, operational control. Dan will demand a seat on the MTex board and direct oversight of all new drilling projects, specifically Cooper's lucrative strike. This gives the cartel a legitimate funnel for money laundering and control over the crown jewel of the Norris family's future. Second, the blood oath. Dan will require a gesture of trust. We predict this will involve Tommy using his Landman skills to secure mineral rights on a specific, sensitive piece of land, perhaps federal land or a rival's protected property, acting as the cartel's inside man to expand their territorial reach. This isn't just business, it's making Tommy an accomplice. But the third demand will be the most shocking: the hostage. Dan will insist that Cooper work directly under one of his lieutenants, effectively making Cooper a permanent employee of the cartel. This ensures Tommy's compliance and gives Dan direct leverage over Tommy's heart. Tommy will have to sell his son's freedom to save his company. While Tommy is being cornered, Rebecca Lacey will be spiraling further. We predict she will discover Cammy's secret meetings with Dan Morrill. Feeling betrayed and seeing the company rushing toward a criminal abyss, Rebecca will make a catastrophic decision. To protect herself and perhaps sink the deal she wasn't included in, she will leak details of the impending cartel investment to a journalist or a rival company. This won't be a calculated power play. It will be an act of panic and spite. The leak will cause MTex remaining ethical partners to flee and attract the attention of federal investigators. Rebecca's affair was an emotional betrayal. This leak will be a professional declaration of war against Tommy and Cammy. The human cost of the H2S leak will become a legal weapon. We predict Jerrell, facing permanent blindness and a ruined life, will be approached by an ambulance-chasing lawyer, possibly one connected to a rival firm or even Dan Morrill's enemies. A massive negligence lawsuit will be filed against MTex, not just for Jerrell, but on behalf of all the hunters who were poisoned. This lawsuit will be the public nail in MTex's coffin, destroying its reputation and making it utterly toxic to any legitimate investor. It will also be used as leverage within Tommy's negotiations. Dan might offer to make the lawsuit disappear through his brand of intimidation, further binding Tommy to his criminal network. The physical disaster has now evolved into a legal tsunami. Tommy's newfound peace with his father, TL, will be immediately tested. We predict TL, with his old-school cold and deep understanding of land and men, will see through Dan Morrill's offer immediately. He will warn Tommy that some debts are worse than bankruptcy. But Tommy, feeling the weight of hundreds of jobs and his son's future, will believe he has no choice. The most heartbreaking scene will be when Tommy must explain the deal to Cooper. Cooper, who wanted to prove his independence, will realize his success has ensnared his father. He will erupt, accusing Tommy of treating him like a child to be traded. This will fracture their fragile truce, pushing Cooper toward a reckless, solitary move that could get him killed. The episode will end not with a resolution, but a chilling new status quo. Tommy will shake Dan Morrow's hand. The deal will be struck. But as he leaves the office, he will see his reflection in a dark window and won't recognize the man staring back. Rebecca's leak will hit the press, causing Cammy to turn on Tommy in a fury, blaming him for the scrutiny. Tommy will be utterly isolated, hated by his business partners, feared by his son, and owned by a cartel. His only ally will be TL, a man he's just forgiven after decades. The final shot will be Tommy and TL sitting in silence on the porch, watching the sunset. Not in peace, but in grim preparation for the war they both know has just begun. The hawk has entered the snake pit. Now he has to figure out how to eat without being eaten. The next episode will be titled The Handshake, and it will change everything.